Some people walk away. And everything shifts. They don't argue. They just leave.
And the energy changes.
People wonder where they went.
Why it feels so different without them. That's not magic, that's power. Now imagine if you did that. If you stopped being the one
who always answers. What would happen? Here's the truth.
The people around you
are used to accessing you like a vending machine. They press a button.
You give them energy. They push a little. You give them time.
But the moment you pause,
the moment you choose not to respond,
they panic.
They chase.
They blame. Because they don't miss you. They miss what you give. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves."
So ask yourself, who gets irritated when you don't respond?
Who accuses you of changing when you start protecting your peace? That reaction reveals them, and where you're still giving your energy away. Not because they miss you,
but because they lost their access. You were taught to be available.
Always say yes. Always be nice. But let me tell you something no one said clearly enough. Excessive availability is not love. It's self-abandonment. Every yes to them was a no to you. You've made being available your identity. And they made it your cage. The more you say yes when you mean no, the more you respond to people who drain you, the more you shrink. And they don't even notice. Because they're not loving you.
They're using your access.
And when that stops, they say, "You've changed." But what they really mean is, "You stopped serving my comfort." Carl Jung called it the persona. The mask we wear to be accepted, approved, and needed. But here's the problem. That mask becomes your prison. You say you're fine when you're drowning. You explain yourself as if your boundaries are a crime. You respond to every message, even when you're exhausted. Why? Because deep down, you're afraid. Afraid of being forgotten. Afraid of being judged. Afraid of being alone. Isn't it lonelier to always be present for everyone, and have no one truly present for you? Peace doesn't scream. It whispers, after the chaos is gone. Jung didn't see your mind as a machine. He saw it as an energy system. Every reaction, every conversation, every explanation costs you. You keep bleeding energy. Explaining yourself. Fixing what isn't yours. And responding to people who only value your availability. Your energy isn't infinite. And the more you spend it reacting, the less you have left to actually live. This is why you feel tired. Not just physically, but spiritually. You're not broken, just drained. Let that land. You're not exhausted because you do too much. You're exhausted because you say yes to people who would never say yes for you. When will you finally stop being available for your own abandonment? Manipulators don't need to yell. They just need you to keep reacting. They know your buttons, and they press them quietly. Because if they can get a reaction, They don't need control. You hand it over. You weren't you in their eyes. You were their projection. Their caretaker. Their fix. Their echo. And when you stopped playing that role, they got angry because their illusion collapsed. You became a mirror they can't read, because the version they used to control no longer shows up. Silence is not weakness. It's reconstruction. Silence is you, coming back to yourself. When you're no longer explaining your worth, you're finally living it. Your silence forces others to confront their own shadows. Some will hate you for that. They say you've become unavailable. But really, you've become aligned. At first, being unavailable feels wrong. You feel guilty. You worry they'll leave. But then you realize, what leaves when you honor your boundaries was never meant to stay. You stop accepting emotional crumbs. You stop being the helper, the healer, the fixer. And you start becoming whole. So now the question is, who are you without the noise? You were never too much. You were just too open. And now, you're learning to be open, selectively. You will lose people. But you will find peace. You'll stop being available, and start being valuable. You don't owe them access. You owe you. Because when you finally stop being available to everyone, you become available to yourself. Every day is a bonus. Charles Odia.